Good evening, San Diego. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. Talking about the weather, well, it's hot around here. We're going to keep on with that heat as we go through the next couple of days. So yeah, not really letting up with this area of high pressure that's overhead. You have some hot highs that are still in store, as well as some hazy conditions out there with sky, because we do have some of that smoke that's still filtering in from surrounding wildfires. The peak of the heat for tomorrow is anticipated for Thursday, especially across the inland valleys. Most of the county is actually going to hit the peak of the heat, and then we back away from it as we go into the weekend. Also, that lingering smoke will still be there. So let's first talk about the smoke. We are going to see it let up just a little bit, but not a whole lot as we go from tonight into tomorrow morning, because once we get to tomorrow morning, that's when things start to settle a little bit more. And as a result, we have those wind speeds that start to come down just a little bit. And then we get into the afternoon hours. That's when things start to pick up with that weak onshore push. And so that pushes a lot of that smoke across inland areas. And that's exactly what we're going to be seeing in our forecast. And then into about Friday, in-house model is suggesting a little bit less of that smoke coverage. So it just all depends on how firefighting efforts continue to go. When we look at our air quality across the county, most of it's going to be at a moderate reading for tomorrow. So still with the haziness in the sky, more settled in the morning hours as mentioned, and then it starts to move a little bit more inland once we hit the afternoon. And by the afternoon hours, we are still locked into heat. Widespread 90s in the forecast for today. You're still holding on to that with more triple digits popping up by tomorrow. 100 degrees was the high today for Valley Center. You had 104 for Campo. You had 98 degrees for Escondido, 90s for La Mesa, as well as for Ramona. Even across the mountains, we had those 90s, and you had the 110s for the desert. You have daytime highs for tomorrow that are going to be in a similar range, but a little bit warmer, just by a few degrees, and that's why we're expecting the peak of the heat for our Thursday. You still have the heat advisory that continues for the inland valleys and the mountains with highs upwards of 102. That will continue all the way until Friday. Also with the extreme heat warning for the desert with those 110s for daytime highs, that will continue all the way through Friday as well. So weather impact alert days over the next couple of days because of this heat. We're going to start off the morning hours with widespread 60s in our forecast, 68 degrees for downtown, 66 for La Mesa, as well as for Chula Vista. You even have some low 70s for Palomar Mountain, the same for Julian, and for Alpine, 84 degrees as an overnight low. That will be for Borrego Springs. When we look at our highs for tomorrow, still locked into the heat, as mentioned, the peak of it looking to be tomorrow with triple digits. You have Valley Center at 100 degrees again. You also have 101 expected for Ramona, 100 degrees for Julian and Campo with triple digit heat. Even warmer than usual for this time of the year for the coast as well as for downtown. That's going to be with daytime highs back into those 80s right there along the coast, and you also have the upper 70s for Encinitas as well as for Del Mar. Your surf forecast about 2 to 4 feet and also sets up to 5 feet with a moderate risk of rip currents at our local beaches. So that area of high pressure is going to be around our forecast for the next few days, locked into the heat, even moves a little bit closer towards us by Thursday. That's why we're expecting the peak of the heat on Thursday. It starts to let up just a little bit by Friday, but not enough. You're still locked into it. Area of low pressure sweeping by to the north is not really going to make a major impact for us. Over the weekend, we have onshore flow that starts to pick up just a little bit more, and that knocks our temperatures back down to what's seasonal for this time of the year. But before we get to that point, you have weather impact alert days through Friday. So we're looking at those widespread mid to upper 90s, even some triple digit heat for the inland valleys for Thursday. You're back to 90 degrees by Saturday, seasonal for this time of the year, even seeing some of those 80s popping up for the inland valleys into next week. Widespread 70s back in the forecast for the coast starting on Friday. When you look at the mountains, you have the 90s. Now here's the catch. For the mountains as well as for the desert, temperatures will slip by a few degrees, but they're still going to be pretty toasty. Just not hot enough to continue those heat alerts, but just something to be mindful of when we're talking about a slip in temperatures over the weekend. It's still going to be pretty warm as we're still above seasonal for most areas for the mountains as well as for the desert. 116 tomorrow for the desert, 111 by Saturday. I hope you're having a great night, and thanks for tuning in.